drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checkered flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You move to NFR, feel the speed. Tuesday night, feel the light. 4 leagues, get ready, it's a sight. SAFRL, speed so bright. SKR, going full flight. JPR, rev it up, don't stop. LSA, engines make 'em pop. 5 drivers, each team roaring. Racing hearts, no ignoring. Race night fever, 8 o'clock. Engines roar, the streets rock. 4 leagues fighting, head to head. Burning rubber, painting red. Crowds cheer, lights flashing. Through the night, all passion. One by one, on the track. No turning back, no slack. High speed, adrenaline rush. Turbocharged, feel the crush. League pride, holding tight. Win or lose, in the night. Race night fever, 8 o'clock. Engines roar, the streets rock. 4 leagues fighting, head to head. Burning rubber, painting red. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. The victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. NFR, lights are green. Zooming fast, slick machine. Every twist, every scene. Catch the action on your screen. NFR, yeah. NFR, yeah. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin.
Tuesday night clash, we gather here. Four fierce leagues, no room for fear. SAFRL bringing fire hot. SK already taking the shot. JPR rolling like a storm. LSA precise like a norm. Five drivers, each heart's ablaze. Victory dreams in relentless haze. Head to head on Tuesday night. Racing fast under the light. Fury built, engines scream loud. Fully fight, make us proud. Tires screeching through the turns. Passion ignites and the rubber burns. SAFRL won't yield ground. SKR driver spinning round. JPR gripping whistle tight. LSA moves with surgical might. Five souls from each battling hard. Chasing glory in this racing yard. Engines roar, pulses race. Adrenaline rushes in this place. Four leagues crashing in the dark. Chasing dreams, leaving marks. Turn on the screen, it's NFR. Feel the rush like a shooting star. The engines roar, the tires scream. Fast as lightning, it's the dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR. The rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far. Where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Not Fernando calls the play on NFR. Every race day, commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far. Where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Not Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary shot watch and see.
Feel the speed, the thrill, high octane drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checkered flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR's are the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You move to NFR, feel the speed, the speed. Tuesday night, feel the light. 4 leagues, get ready, it's a sight. SAFRL, speed so bright. SKR, going full flight. JPR, rev it up, don't stop. LSA, engines make 'em pop. 5 drivers, each team roaring. Racing hearts, no ignoring. Race night fever, 8 o'clock. Engines roar, the streets rock. 4 leagues fighting, head to head. Burning rubber, painting red. Crowds cheer, lights flashing. Through the night, all passion. One by one, on the track. No turning back, no slack. High speed, adrenaline rush. Turbocharged, feel the crush. League pride, holding tight. Win or lose, in the night. Race night fever, 8 o'clock. Engines roar, the streets rock. 4 leagues fighting, head to head. Burning rubber, painting red. Race night fever, 8 o'clock. Engines roar, the streets rock. 4 leagues fighting, head to head. Burning rubber, painting Feel the speed, let it flow. Racing hearts, watch them glow. Turn it up, start the show. NFR, feel the heat. Fast and fierce, never beat. Engines roar, can't stay off seats. Catch the thrill, it's so sweet. NFR, NFR. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Go, victory's close. Who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. NFR, lights are green. Zooming fast, slick machine. Every twist, every scene. Catch the action on your screen. NFR, NFR, yeah. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Go, victory's close. Who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin.
Tuesday night clash, we gather here. Four fierce leagues, no room for fear. SAFRL bringing fire hot. SK already taking the shot. JPR rolling like a storm. LSA precise like a norm. 5 drivers, each heart's ablaze. Victory dreams in relentless haze. Head to head on Tuesday night. Racing fast under the light. Fury built, engine scream loud. Fully fight, make us proud. Tires screeching through the turns. Passion ignites and the rubber burns. SAFRL won't yield ground. SKR driver spinning round. JPR gripping whistle tight. LSA moves with surgical might. 5 souls from each battling hard. Chasing glory in this racing yard. Engines roar, pulses race. Adrenaline rushes in this place. 4 leagues crashing in the dark. Chasing dreams, leaving marks. Turn on the screen, it's NFR. Feel the rush like a shooting star. The engines roar, the tires scream. Fast as lightning, it's the dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR. The rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far. Where the races never end. day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, holy friend. Now Fernando calls the play on NFR race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, holy friend. Deaf Queen, the top supporter scene in the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see.
Feel the speed, the thrill, high octane drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to NFR. Welcome back to Tuesday nights. It's time for the League V League Championship. Of course, Season 1, Round 9. We are in Albert Park in Australia. Of course, it's just going to be the short qualifying session followed by the 50% race, so normal format. I have 17 drivers in the field unless anybody else is still able to squeeze in. Seems like we have 3 drivers short. Now we're going to start seeing the first action out on circuit. One of the first cars. One of the first cars to leave the pits. Let me know in the comment section, can you guys hear the cars? I don't think you guys can hear the cars. Let me know if you can hear the cars. And not hear the cars. This is not good. How do I fix this? It seems like we have no sound, but it seems like it's coming through my PlayStation that way. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I hope it sorts itself out for the race. But it seems like the sound is not coming out of the PlayStation. So I think my lobby, seen it before. I'll have a qualifying session in silence and then it comes back in the race. Hopefully it does. Oh, this is not good. No cars, not good. Oh, that's unfortunate, but it seems like no sound is coming through. So you're going to have to listen just to the sound of me. Sorry about that. Luckily for you, just 15 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Just about everybody out on track with the exception of 3 of the drivers. That's Mr. Rem, Spikes and Andres. The rest of the field all out on track, either on quick laps or on out laps. It's one of the LSA cars, Convoy. Of course, 2 or 3 years ago, this track did undergo some modifications, made the track a lot quicker, especially in sector 2. Skull, the first man over the line with a 1:16.9. Now we're going to see Convoy over the line. What time does he put up? It's a 1:16.8. Very close stuff at the front so far, 16.8, 16.9. Then we have Wakes in third place, 17.4. That's just the 3 drivers that have set lap times. This is a Wakes, it's one of the JPR drivers. Now this one's a little confusing. Virus, let me know in the comment section, is Virus an SKR driver? Because there's green and there's black on that car. So is it SAFRL? Is it SKR? Let me know. For now, I'm going to assume it's SKR. Levy over the line into provisional pole, 16.4. Is indeed SKR. Thanks for the confirmation. Regis looking slightly different than the rest. This is set Big T. No lap time on an outlap. Mr. Rem on an outlap, as is Spikes and Andres. So Andre out on a timed lap. In fact, I think he's about to go over the line. Goes over the line with a 17.5. It's good enough for P7. Close times at the front. Just 3 drivers in the 1:16. 1 JPR, 1 LSA, 1 SKR. That's your top 3. 3 leagues in the top 3. It's fantastic. Lots of time still to go. 12.5 minutes remaining. Remember, this is the only qualifying session you're going to see tonight, so no opportunity for Q2, Q3. If you get this wrong, that is where you're going to have to start. Find yourself at the rear of the field. The circuit can be quite a challenging one to try and come through the field. I believe that's Baby Boy. He's just gone quickest. Levy demoted to P2. You will have seen that while he was going down the pit lane. Fricky into P3. So the LSA cars starting to bring those times in, starting to populate the top of the field. This is another SKR, rather LSA car. This is Skylar. 17.1 his best time. So not quite able to crack the 16s just yet. Skull still in the top 5. Andre down to P9 as more and more lap times start to come in. Going to see a busy racetrack in the closing stages. Don't know how many other drivers are going to be happy with that first run. They're going to be eager to get back out there, do it all over again. So Spikes currently in P5. Just over 10.5 minutes remain. A lot of cars in the pits. Still enough time for 2 runs. Depends how these guys have used their tyres. Some of them might have done more than 1 run on a set of tyres, holding an extra tyre for the race. There we go, just like Andre over there. He's done a few laps on that soft, as has Fricky, as has the man on provisional pole. Got it done just before you asked. Big T now in P2, 16.4. Look at that, a tenth of a second between the top 2. In fact, it's a tenth of a second between the top 3. Look at the difference between 2 and 3. It's just 3 thousandths of a second. Don't get much closer than that, unless you want to equal the lap time. Of course, we have seen that in the past. In the event that that happens, the man who set the lap time first keeps the position. That is a very unlikely scenario. This is one of the SAFRL cars yet to, I was going to say yet to set a lap time. Yeah, set a lap time, but it doesn't seem to be a representative lap time. It's a 20.1. So I think this might be his first go at it. First official go at it. He has done more than 1 lap on those tyres, so don't expect his very best out of this. A lot of drivers will be coming in, putting on that last set, going out for the final run. If you've been messing about too much on the first run, you never know when it comes down to just 1 lap. Anyone can make a mistake, even if you think you've mastered the circuit. So we have a caution, not to fear, no safety cars or red flags in qualifying in this game. I think Brazil must have had some sort of a record for red flags. Should probably look that up. How many times was the race stopped between practice qualifying and the race itself? Of course, Albert Park is a partial street circuit, so there are parts of this circuit that you can go off and not sustain too much damage. There's other parts of this circuit, there's a barrier right there, and you're not going to get a second opportunity. Of course, Albert Park came to the F1 calendar in 1996 as the season opener. Of course, Australia had to organise 2 Grand Prix in a very short period of time, because they went from being the last race of the season in 1995 to the first race of the season in 1996. Of course, those were at 2 different racetracks. 1996, the debut of this circuit. Before that, we used to use the Adelaide Street Circuit. Very fast, very tight circuit. I'd say as tight as Monaco, just a little quicker. This is one of the 2 LSA cars in the top 2. The other one is Convoy. 16.2, 16.3. Those are the times at the front. Then Big T leads the second row with a 16.4. Lebby also on that second row, also with a 16.4. Then Fricky 16.6, 16.7 for Spikes, and a 16.9 for Skull. So just 7/10 of a second cover the top 7. Hopefully we see these lap times translate into race pace, because this means we're going to have a very close race. If you have just joined us, I do apologize if you cannot hear the cars in the background. I think that is not my setup, because I haven't changed anything. I think that is the game itself. The game coming through on my side is coming through without sound. So hopefully when we start the next session, when we go to the race, hopefully it will correct itself. Otherwise you might want to put on some background music. This is Fricky, P3, 16.4. Look at those lap times. We now have 3 drivers in the 16.4s. Fricky 16.4. Big T, 16.4. And of course, Levy, 16.4. Incredibly close. Another thing that's incredibly close is the poll. Of course, we've got the poll up in the comment section on the channel. Go over to the poll and let me know who you're supporting. SKR looking very strong in the polls. Looking a little lopsided at the moment. 14% for LSA and SAFRL, 21 for JPR, and so far SKR are taking the other 50%. So majority of the supporters on the channel here for SKR. If you're here for one of the other leagues, let me know. Go vote on the poll. Don't knock SKR off their perch. Skylar puts himself up into P3 and he just inserts himself into those close lap times. There were already so many of them so close together. Now you've got the leader 16.2, you've got a pair of 16.3s, and you've got 3 drivers on 16.4s. Incredibly close lap times. In fact, it was 7/10 covering the top 7, but Skylar's inserted him right inside there, so now it's actually 7/10 covering the top 8. Now Levy goes quicker, 16.0, throws down the gauntlet to everybody else in the session, says go beat that. Put an extra 2/10 onto his previous time. Fricky also improved, went to a 16.2. Conboy 16.2. 16.3 by Venom. Then you got Baby Boy 16.3, another 16.3 for Skylar. The LSA drivers, they're not only quick, they're matching each other. Very, very close between all of those teammates. Big T in the pits, Spikes on an outlap. Nick Gishin also on an outlap. That is a JPR car. Another JPR car awakes. Has a 1 lap time in, a 17.4, good enough for P14. See, Mr. M has already retired from the session, so he will start from the rear of the field. He did not set a lap time. So far, so good. Levy, provisional pole, and I think there's still time for him to come in and get a lap time in. Of course, he'd have to be very, very quick in the pits, and sometimes those mechanics move a lot slower than you'd like them to move. So not the shortest race circuit on the calendar to get around. It does take a bit of time to get around here, and if you do find yourself in traffic, you might miss out on that final run. Have about 50-50 at the moment, about half the field in the pits prepping for that final run. Another car retires. That is Andres. Maybe he's just had enough of the session. I don't know if that was a crash. We didn't see any yellow flags. Not a lot of action out on track right now. Conboy on an outlap. Big T on an outlap. Spikes. I believe this is a timed lap. Let's ride on board with the SAFRL driver. Penultimate corner. I've seen so many drivers lose it around that final corner in Australia. So tentative. You have to be on the accelerator pedal. Don't want to jump on it too hard. Don't want to jump on it too early. I've seen many incidents out of that corner. And when your tires start to go off, you might want to respect the exit of that corner even a little more. Levy did in fact get out for one final run, still just under 1.5 minutes remaining on the clock, so he should be able to get around and have one final lap. I think the time is up for Fricky, the man in P2. He's not going to be able to get back out there. Conboy, he's just started a quick lap. We ride on board with him as he heads off into turn 1. Now he's going to open up DRS. Just throwing everything at the car right now. I guarantee you battery's actually not discharging as quick as I thought. Probably thinking of using that at other parts of the circuit. Big T goes quickest, first 15 we've seen of the night, 15.9. goes and finds half a tenth, actually just under a tenth from Levy. Levy is on an outlap, so he's going to try and take that pole position back from him. Still ride with Conboy, one of the LSA drivers currently in P4. Let's go to, where is Levy? It's another driver we want to watch. He's just started his quick lap. This will be his final run. This is Conboy. I believe he's in sector 3. This will be his final run. If there's no improvement, we'll see him peel off into the pits. If he does what he's doing here, he believes there is an improvement. Conboy over the line. It was a 16.2. I believe it's still a 16.2, so it doesn't find an improvement. Levy, he's looking for an improvement, looking for a tenth, anything he can find. But I think he's just backed off. I think Levy has just backed off. The checkered flag has fallen, so there will be no improvement from Levy. Still have Venom out on course, getting awfully close to the barrier on the outside there, just using all of the track, trying to open up that left-hander as much as possible. The alterations to the circuit have changed the entry to that corner so much. You take it so much quicker. You have to commit to it to make up the time. Now around the final corner, he doesn't peel off into the pits. That suggests there's an improvement on the way. Venom 16.3. What does he have? Stays at a 16.3. Nobody improving on these final runs. We do have Baby Boy. I missed that. He's gone into provisional pole position ahead of Big T. Who else is still out on track? Virus goes over the line. 118.6. He stays the same. No improvement. Not a lot of improvements on those final runs. So there are your official results. I'll try and get through them as quickly as possible. Baby Boy, that is going to be your pole sitter. He's going to be joined on the front row by Big T. Then the second row, Levy and Fricky. Third row, Conboy and Venom. Fourth row, Skylar and Skull. Then the fifth row, Spikes and Virus. That's your top 10. On the other side of the top 10, Nick Gish and P11, Smurf P12, Awakes 13, Andre 14, Top Gun 15. I think it was Andres 16, Mr. M 17, and it was Tresso. Tresso was the last name. I think he just got in here at the last second. So almost got through the list. Got to keep on working at it. SKR still leading in the poll. They've actually increased their lead in the poll. They were on 50%. They're now on 56%. Where are all the other supporters? Of course, at the beginning of qualifying, we get a very similar view to this. But we're waiting for the cars to come out of the garages this time. There's no cars in the garages. They're all on the main straight. They're all prepping. They're all prepping for the race. Final strategies. What tyre to start on. How deep into the race do they intend to go? Do you anticipate safety cars and therefore underfuel the car? Lots of questions. Lots of them just a gamble. So of course we had no game sound coming through from the PlayStation in qualifying. I don't know if that problem is fixed. We'll find out when we get to the grid. I just want to apologize in advance if the game sound doesn't come back. I'm not going to try and fiddle with settings and look for it because, well, you guys are going to miss half of the race if I have to start looking for issues. But I do think it's an issue coming through from the game. So apologies from my side again. Put on some soft background music. but hopefully the engine sounds do return. This is an awfully long pause. Usually what happens when we have a pause like this is it's quite a jump to the formation lap. All of a sudden you see the dual green lights and off they go. Not much of a warning. We will continue to wait. Of course, I said earlier that this was a partial street circuit because part of the circuit is locked up behind gates. You can't drive on it with a road car. Other parts of the circuit, they're part of Melbourne traffic. Get the dual green lights. There it is. We had a bit of a long pause, but we eventually get underway. Seems like, there we go, we're up to 18 cars. The Tresso has been able to get in there. It's going to be the formation lap. It's going to give all of the drivers one more opportunity to get around this circuit. Feel this car with a heavy fuel tank. While it's a formation lap, I'm going to try one thing real quick to see if I can fix this sound. Just, I'll be back in a few seconds. Still nothing coming through on the PlayStation side. Not sure what's going on there. Hopefully we get that sorted out. Hopefully that's something that doesn't become more common on the stream. Of course, there was a patch released for this game yesterday, and you never know what the patch may do, what it may break. It attempts to fix things. Many times it simply breaks others. Wait now for all of the cars to line up on the grid. Very, very quiet at home on your screens, I'm sure. The only thing coming through is my voice. Must sound terrible. It's like watching F1 on mute with just Jolyon Palmer talking. Now we're going to get the 5 red lights, and once they go off, we get underway. It's going to be Baby Boy from Big T, from Lebby, from Fricky going into turn 1. Hopefully we don't see too much action into turn 1. Long race to go. SKR versus LSA versus JPR. 3 leagues in the top 3. We've got a caution very, very early on. It's a virtual safety car. No overtaking. Everybody maintain position. We don't want to see early penalties in this race. It's very, very early days in the race. We didn't even manage to see what happened. Seemed like turn 1 was clean, but somewhere in the, I think it must have been at the rear of the field. Didn't see anyone falling from the midfield suddenly, but something has triggered a virtual safety car. Doesn't look like anybody is out of the race, like anybody is DNF'd. Maybe if we go through the field, we might find some evidence of what happened there. And there we go. That was Virus. Virus missing the entirety of his front wing. Means he's going to have to come in. If you're missing an end plate, you'll still see a few drivers attempting to stay out there till their pit window, not wanting to make that extra pit stop, lose that extra 20 seconds. We do have a green flag. Virtual safety car has come to an end. We're back to racing. In fact, we're racing for the first time, really. We only raced for about 3 corners and we were under virtual safety car. Big T over the line for the first lap. He's got Big Boy behind him. He's got Levy just behind him. 3 leagues in the top 3. Go back to P40. We've got another yellow. And before I can finish the sentence, wow, we are under safety car. This is a very, very early safety car. I think the only guys that will be able to really benefit from this sort of safety car is guys that got critical damage early on. Seems like Smurf is the DNF. So unfortunate there for Smurf. First one to fall. Had a virtual safety car. Really in turn 1 or turn 2 of the race. We didn't see it, unfortunately. It was in the background and not on our camera. We got racing again. Did about half a lap. And then triggered a full safety car. So we haven't done much racing so far. We've done about 2/3 of a lap. But we are on lap 2, starting lap 3. Of course, 29 laps. And drivers will be thinking all the time about their strategy. Are they going to try anything different? Are they going to have a roll of the dice? Are they just going to stay out, hold on to track position? I think if we had seen some drivers starting with the soft compound, they may have very well come in under this pit stop and just gotten rid of those tyres. But looks like we've got a pretty even split between mediums and hards. So I don't think most of those drivers are going to be coming in. They're just going to be holding on to track position. Those tyres still have a lot of a job to do. Can't come in and get rid of your long-term tyres on lap 3. Of course, when you start with the soft compound, you have the superior grip in the start of the race. You're able to get a good start. You may even be able to make up a few positions if you're a really attacking driver. Problem with that scenario is you're going to be the first driver out on track to lose his tyres. So that's when you do hope for an early safety car. Lets you get rid of those soft tyres. Sort of neutralizes that time you would have lost in a full pit stop. Visor, I don't know if Visor is trolling, but none of the drivers have mentioned anything in the comment section. I know Skull was in the comment section earlier. I don't know what other drivers are listening to the stream, but usually if there's any sign of rain in the weather forecast, I get warned in the comment section pretty early on. We haven't had any warning about rain, and there are still blue skies up ahead, a few clouds about, but that would definitely make things interesting. We've already had a full safety car, and Visor saying rain in 10 laps. Visor saying now rain in 10 laps. We know that sometimes, or actually not sometimes, let's just be honest, we know that Jeff being, I know his name's not Jeff anymore, but I don't care what his new name is. Jeff, the engineer that all of these drivers have, they'll have him in their rear. He'll be telling them rain in 10 minutes, rain in 5 minutes, whatever the case may be. We do know he's not particularly accurate. Sometimes he can tell you rain in 10 minutes and the rain starts falling the very next lap. Sometimes he can say rain in 10 minutes and 15 minutes later he's going to say rain in 10 minutes again. So not the most helpful engineer. Sorry for that. We've had so much safety car. I had to find a little bit of filler. Safety car now starts to disappear into the distance. That means Big T now takes the responsibility of getting these guys around to the start-finish line. Of course, the leader is the driver who decides when to go. He can go early, he can go late. But the most important thing to remember is there can be no overtakes until the start-finish line. And here in Australia, it's quite a run to that start-finish line. So all the drivers have to hold station down that straight till they pass the start-finish line. There can be no overtaking. We've seen many times before at the end of a safety car, just 3 or 4 drivers accumulating a penalty at the same time. Big T goes. Baby boy doesn't let him get the jump. 0.4 of a second is the gap. Would have been hoping to get a jump on that driver behind, possibly break DRS before DRS even becomes active. Hasn't been able to do so. In fact, LSA, baby boy, even closer now to the leader. Front wing tucked in behind the rear diffuser of the SKR driver. Very, very close at the front. This is the most racing we've seen so far this evening. Hopefully we get to DRS activation without the next safety car. This is Fricky, P4, then Convoy, then Spikes. Skylar in P7, Nick Gishin, one of the JPR drivers, P8. We've got Top Gun, another JPR driver, just behind him in P9. Another SKR driver in the points, Andre, currently in P10, holding on to that last points position. The Wakes just outside the points, Mr. Rem, P12, Tresso, 13. Remember, he had to start from the rear of the field, did not set a lap time. Andres, 14, Venom, 15. And then at the rear, we have Virus and Skull. Rain in 10 minutes. I keep on looking at that comment, wondering if I should take it seriously. Well, the last time we rode on board, we looked up towards the skies and we still saw blue skies. There still are blue skies. Definitely a few clouds about. Keep your eyes out. If anybody sees raindrops before I do, point it out real fast. Of course, those first raindrops doesn't necessarily mean all the drivers are going to jump into the pits for intermediates. We've actually seen examples on this channel, really in the past month, where we've had multiple races where rain is involved, where we just have like this 5 or 6 lap period where nobody really knows what tyre to be on. Drivers will probably be hoping for the rain to stay away. Drivers who aren't having a fantastic race, well, they'll be hoping for rain just to come and mix things up. Big T, good job at the front so far. SKR still leads. Then LSA P2, LSA P3. We've got a JPR car in P4. That's Levy. Fricky sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:19.2. Levy picks up the first penalty of the evening. It's a 3-second penalty. May not seem like much, but these things come back to bite you at the end of the race. I've seen many disappointed drivers lose a podium, lose a victory. And now they're starting to come in thick and fast. Mr. Rem, second driver to pick up a penalty. It's only lap 7. Fierce battle at the front. Now LSA going for the lead. Not much Big T could have done about that. He had the DRS. Just had to simply fly past. Now Big T's going to have the DRS next time around. Just needs to stay as close to the LSA car as possible. They're in sector 3. Just needs to manage these next 3 corners. Then he's going to be back in a DRS zone. Just needs to stay as close as he can. Keep that gap within half a second. Then he should have an opportunity into turn 1. I think anything over half a second is going to take a bit of a lunge. He's getting awfully close. Thinks about it and thinks better of it. Of course, he's going to have a second attempt at DRS right now. Opens it up. This time he's a little bit further away. He isn't going to be able to get close enough into that braking point to even think of a move. So 4/10 at the front. You want to see what 4/10 looks like? That's what 4/10 looks like. It's not much. Big T still close behind now. He's picked up a penalty. He's picked up a penalty. This is what happens when you start to push. You start to look for every single tenth of a second you can find on the circuit. You start exploring the width of the circuit, trying to use all of the tarmac. And you can only go over those white lines so many times before you start getting thrown penalties. Of course, it starts off with 3 and then it goes up in increments of 3. So if you don't behave yourself, you can quickly find yourself on 6, 9, 12, and even further than that. We've seen further than that. When you start getting into the upper echelons of the 20s, well, you can expect a DSQ. Big T, he's out front, but he's got that penalty, which means if he wants to win this race, he needs to win the race by a gap of 3 seconds. Of course, there's always the risk of him picking up more penalties, because right now he's going to be trying to open up the gap. He's going to be pushing as hard as he can. That's when these penalties tend to snowball. It's when you're on your limit. Quite a few of you watching the race. Thank you to everybody who has joined. Qualifying got off to a bit of a slow start with the viewers, but lots of you are here for the race. Great to have you all here. Of course, if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I know a lot of you are returning viewers. If you're new to the channel, being brought over from LSA, welcome to NFR. Hope you enjoy the race. And if you have just joined us, I do know there's no car sounds. I do apologize, but that is unfortunately not me. It's not the stream. There is simply no game sound coming out of my game. So F124 throws you a curveball, you just never know which way it's going to go. Big T leads the way. Baby boy P2, the gap still 4/10 of a second, so it's really crucial now for Big T to open up that gap. He's got a 3-second penalty next to his name, but he's just not able to get away from those LSA drivers. There's 2 of them, they're matching each other, and they can bully the SKR driver if they want to, but they're not going to be able to bully him for now. We are under the 2nd safety car, and it's lap 10 of 29. Yeah, Revolution saying it's always something new with this game. Yeah, look, I haven't changed a single thing, so I knew it wasn't that. But I have had just a quick look at all the wires, and everything's plugged in the way it's supposed to be. But I can actually see it on my computer screen that the sound feed that's supposed to be coming through from the console is just completely on 0. So no sound coming through from the game. Thank you very much, F124. That patch was obviously much needed. Of course, the safety car, we didn't mention who triggered the safety car. It was Skull. Of course, Skull had a good evening on Sunday night, finished 3rd in the sprint race, finished 6th in the feature race. Then last night got himself another podium, got himself a P3 in Brazil. So 2 very good nights in a row in Brazil. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to bring that sort of performance to Australia, to the LvL League Championship. Tresso is now the man in the lead. Remember, he was the driver who set no quali time because he was only able to squeeze in just before the race. So the man who started at the rear of the field is now the man that leads the race. It'd almost be a Max Verstappen story if he didn't start in P18. Just looking at the supporters poll on the YouTube channel, SKR still leading with 53%. Then seems like the 2nd most popular league is JPR, 21%, LSA 16%, And where are the SAFRL supporters? Just 11%. Now there's a few of you out there watching, so if you haven't voted on the poll, go over to the poll and let me know who you are supporting. And if anybody can tell me, is Tresso an LSA driver? I'm not quite sure. It's a interesting livery by Tresso. See, I'm not sure what that is. It's got a bit of green in it. It's got a lot of yellow in it. I believe that's the Senna Special Livery McLaren, if I'm not mistaken. Tresso's racing for LSA, so we'll keep that in mind. Not only has a special livery for this, not only has a special helmet for this race, he's got a whole special livery for the race. Wonder if that livery was FIA approved prior to its change. Tresso, he's going to be the leader when we finally do get going. Speaking of special liveries, one of the first teams to really get it right was Red Bull when they joined the sport in the mid 2000s. Came with many special liveries. In fact, I remember a Superman Returns livery, and David Coulthard got on the podium that day and he had a Superman cape. So a couple of Star Wars liveries over the years. Something that you tend to see in modern F1, but never used to see it in the old days. F1 was a lot more strict about your livery. Of course, when BAR tried to enter the sport, they tried to enter the sport with two different liveries, one for each teammate, and the FIA said, absolutely not. You better make a plan and make one quickly. So what they did was put the one sponsor on the one side of the car, put the other sponsor on the other side of the car. One was white, one was blue. And then they put a zipper down the middle. Safety car has come to an end. That was the second safety car of the race so far. There we go. Lap 13 has started. Tresso leads the way. Last time around we said the driver leading didn't get a great start because he just had that 3/4 advantage into turn 1. This time Tresso has done the reverse of that. He's got the perfect start. When he turned into turn 1, he had a 1.1 second lead, still holding on to that. 1.2 seconds now, so getting further and further from DRS. This is a Wakes in P2. Not a position I think he expected to be in not so long ago, but drivers have made their pit stops. I think he's one of the drivers to have stayed out on those tyres. So not only is he going to be floundering about with some very, very quick drivers around him, his tyres aren't really in the best shape to compete with those drivers, but doing a good job to hold on so far. Andries holding on to position. Big T will be getting a little annoyed. He wants to get through. He wants to chase Tresso. Doesn't want Tresso to disappear up the road. But remember, these two are not teammates. Two different leagues altogether. These guys are fighting it out for championship points. Of course, LSA quite dominant in the championship. I think we know which way the championship is going. But P2, 3, 4, all still up for play. Who's going to finish where? It's all about consistency in these final few races. Of course, tonight we're here in Australia. I believe next week we will have our second. Ooh, that looked very, very messy. Of course, we had a mystery race early on in the season. I think we'll have our second mystery race next week. That is a difficult one for the drivers. They don't really know what track they're going to be racing at. 5 minutes before they're supposed to get ready for qualifying. Sort of evens the drivers out a little bit. The really, really quick drivers that do lots and lots of lap times and polish up their setup all week, they don't get that sort of advantage. The front Tresso, then Big T, Baby Boy, Corn Boy, Fricky, Spikes, Awakes, Venom, Nick Gishin, and Skylar. Those are your top 10 at the front. The gap continues to grow. It was 1.1, then it was 1.2. Not much of a difference. Now it's 1.6. So the gap is growing. It's taking 2/10 here, 1/10 there, and it's all adding up. It's all starting to show. Big T has eventually cleared Awakes. He now has some clean air ahead of him, and he's going to be trying to catch Tresso. But this is where I say, if you've got a lot of teammates and they're all of similar pace, they can just bully the opponent. Of course, Big T trying very hard now to reel Tresso in, and he is reeling him in actually to a degree. 1.1 seconds, so that gap has come back down. Problem for him is he's got to keep an eye on his mirrors. He'd love to just focus on that car up the road, but while he's attacking, he has to have one side of his mind on defense. Very nicely done. Shuts the door. Baby Boy was there, definitely there to take the position, but the green car just said no, not just yet. I'm going to hold on to this for a little longer. I'm going to make you work for it a little longer. Of course, the longer these two fight, the more we could see Convoy joining this battle. Could go from a battle of two to a battle of three. Of course, Convoy could bring a bunch of cars with him too, as these two fight for position. Tresso is having a race of his own at the moment, 1.8 seconds up the road, but look at his tyres. He's out of sync with everybody else. He's got the hard tyre he started the race on. Everybody else has since made pit stops under the safety cars. Of course, we had a very early safety car, and then we had a second safety car. I believe it was on lap 10. We've now had our longest stint of racing. Venom, Nick Gishin, Awakes. This was the man at the front of the field not so long ago. Skylar. Then, I was going to say Skylar, then Top Gun, but then they switched, and now they switched again. Who's where? I don't know. Skylar down to 12th. Like he was trying to take one position, lost another. Mr. Rem 13, Virus 14, Andre towards the rear of the field 15, and Andres making up the field in P16. We've lost two drivers. Of course, we lost Skull. That was the driver that caused the second safety car. First safety car was caused by another driver that starts his name with an S. That was Smurf. Baby Boy leads the way and sets the fastest lap of the race to boot. Big T getting awfully close. We saw that gap get almost very, very close to the 2-second barrier, 1.9 seconds. Either Big T is on the absolute move, or Baby Boy has made an error. Gap 7/10 of a second. He's well within DRS now. Now comes down to battery management. How have you managed that battery? Do you have charge to defend with? Remember, the driver behind you, he's going to have DRS. Every time he gets to that straight, he opens up that rear wing, he gets a bit of a boost. The only thing you have to defend is your battery. Use too much of it too quickly, you've got no tools to defend. Revolution saying sometimes the game just says communicating with online services. Yes, it does. and every time it does, I think I'm about to get kicked. Not really sure why it does it, but it does pop around from time to time. My eyes suddenly go to the top left of the screen and I hold my breath. But to say this game was perfect would be a lie. But we can all continue hoping that they'll get it right next time. I'm doing the glass half full. I'm sure they'll get it right next time. Right, everybody? Big T leads the way. Baby Boy P3, those two very close together, split by just 0.3 of a second. We want to give the other drivers some focus as well, but we need to keep our eyes on the leaders. Convoy now gets past Spikes. LSA up into P3. We also have a battle between Fricky and Venom. Lots of DRS battles on the circuit right now. Nick Gishin defending P7 from Lebby as well as Top Gun. I think Lebby and Nick Gishin are both JPR drivers, so they will be working together. Dresso, he led, but eventually he did have to make that pit stop. He's come out on a set of mediums. He's in P14, but he is going to have superior grip and superior pace in these early stages. So how many positions can he make up before those mediums start to drift away? Big T leads the way. The gap doesn't get any bigger. It couldn't get any smaller. If it got any smaller, it's because Big Boy has passed him. Just 0.3 of a second. Doesn't want to move from that 0.3 barrier. Convoy 3.5 seconds adrift from those top two, and he can't concentrate on those top two, can he? Convoy, I'm looking at the wrong car. It's actually Baby Boy defending. Now Spikes up into P3, gets past Convoy. Convoy's not going to let that slide. It's going to come right back at him. One of the fastest parts of the race circuit. You're not going to want to do it here. Wait till the track opens up. This is where the track was modified. You're going to see the track just opens up so much more than it used to. Added a DRS zone to it as well. Surely he's going to have the pace this time around. Convoy, is he going to go for it? He's getting very close, but it's not close enough. It's not close enough. Wonder if he's thinking more of the second DRS zone, but he's a little bit too far away. It's 0.4 of a second. I think Spikes, in fact, Spikes still has a lot of battery left, so I thought that was all about him using battery to defend, but apparently not. So Spike's doing a good job to hold on to P3 for now. He's there on outright pace. Big T, Baby Boy, SKR, LSA competing at the front. And Virus. Virus now picks up a penalty. It's the driver in P11. Lots and lots of drivers with penalties at the moment. We'll bring up the penalty screen just so everyone can get an idea of who's got what sort of penalty. Oh, Skylar. Skylar at the rear of the field. He's got 13 seconds. I think that's the most we've got. The only other man in double digits is Tresso with a 10-second penalty. Suggests that he was speeding in the pit lane on that one and only pit stop. Everybody else with 3 seconds apart from Levy. It's already up to 6, as well as the man in the lead. The man in the lead has a 6-second penalty. So while this looks like a fantastic battle on circuit, on the timing sheets, these two drivers are really not anywhere near each other. It was really weird. It's the second time that's happened this stream. So wait, I haven't put the track map up. I put the track map up. I look at the comment section and somebody asked for the track map. And this time, brought up the penalty screen, looked at the comment section, and somebody's asked for the penalty screen. So it seems like I'm getting the information on screen just in time. Of course, if there's anything else you want to see that I can show you, of course, this game very limited when it comes to data. I'd love to be able to show you guys things like tire wear, better weather forecasts, but unfortunately, all we get is 2 camera angles, penalties, lap times, and tires. That's pretty much the information they give you. So Baby Boy now in the lead. He's also in the lead with no penalties next to his name, so he'll be very comfortably in the lead. You can see Big T is in his mirrors, but he knows Big T is essentially 6 seconds down the road, so he is now comfortably in the lead. If Big T wanted to go on to win this race, he'd need to make an overtake, which he's going for right now around the outside. Very nicely done. That takes both drivers to get it right. Unfortunately for Big T, gets a bit of understeer or isn't able to get it stopped. One of the two runs wide. Baby Boy able to take that position again. Of course, before I interrupted myself, Big T would have to get into the lead and then open up a massive gap. And time is running out. Of course, all of these drivers with penalties, they will be praying that we don't get a late safety car. A late safety car at this stage would pretty much destroy everyone's race that has a penalty next to their name. Everyone who doesn't have a penalty next to their name now, they'd be thinking a safety car would be, in the words of Max Verstappen, just lovely. Key Cracker asking the very important question. I wondered if Isaac was trolling me earlier on in the comment section, mentioning rain in 10 minutes. Well, it seems like the opposite has happened. The clouds have disappeared. We have blue skies over the Melbourne circuit. I think it's pretty safe to say rain will not be affecting this race. There we go. There was the little communicating message you were talking about earlier on. Skull saying no rain. Big T leads the way from Baby Boy, but remember they look close, but they're not really close. Big T needs to find a huge gap if he wants to hold on to this lead. It was a 3-second penalty. He might still count his chances. A 6-second penalty, it's a little bit too far. It's about to start lap 24 of 29. 5 laps to go. A little further down, we've got Spikes and Conboy trading places, and now Spikes, he's just gone wide. Gone off the circuit, lost position. Venom, this is the top JPR driver, if I'm not mistaken. He's in P5 at the moment. At the front, couldn't be closer. The only thing spoiling this race is the fact that one of those drivers has penalties, the other doesn't. Of course, if they at least had equal penalties, this would be one heck of a race. Baby Boy, he will be very happy to stay out of that penalties column for the next 4.5 laps. At the moment, looking at a victory, Nick Gishin adds 3 seconds to his name. So more and more drivers joining that penalties column. Some of them new to the penalties column, others just adding extra penalties. Skylar still got the 13 seconds, Tresso still got the 10 seconds, so those drivers have not served those 10-second penalties. If they don't pit, it will be added on at the end of the race. Then as far as track infringements go, we missed it on track, we didn't see it, but Big T's picked up another penalty. He's now got 9 seconds worth of penalties, and that effectively throws him off the podium and possibly out of the top 5. Just 3 seconds worth penalties for Conboy as well as Top Gun, Awakes, and then Andres and Mr. M. And then we've got a 6-second penalty for Nick Gishin. I think that covers everybody. So lots of penalties on the screen. It's going to be one of those races where I can't really read out the field as they come over the checkered flag, because names are going to be jumping up and down. Some cars with 3, some cars with 6, some cars with 9, some with even more than that in the double digits. This racing continues. Now Baby Boy does join the penalties column. It's a 3-second penalty. Of course, that means it's not going to help him too much now, because Big T did pick up a 3rd penalty. So it's still 9 seconds versus 3 seconds. The gap still technically 6 seconds between these two cars, even though it looks like they're battling it out on circuit. Convoy in P3, and it seems to be a pretty comfortable P3 for now. He's also in the penalties column, but he's got less penalties than Big T, so he might still steal a 2nd place here. Spikes in P4, then Venom P5, Fricky P6. Tresso, the man who started at the rear of the field, led the race at a time, came into the pits, got a 10-second penalty. He's not going to be too happy about that. Was probably hoping for a safety car so he could drop that penalty off. Didn't get the safety car, didn't come in and do the penalty. Now 13 seconds are going to be added on to his race time. It's lap 26 of 29. We're not quite in the safe zone just yet. Of course, when I'm referring to the safe zone, that would be lap 27 of 29. Then it's pretty much confirmed we can have no more safety cars in this race. Tresso, Trey, I don't know. Some of these names are complicated. Skull, what do you want to be called? Do you want to be called LH44? You just tell me what driver name you prefer. Big T leads the way, but only on the race circuit. The timing sheets are going to say something very, very different. Well, Skull, you may have retired today, but at least you didn't purposefully drive your car into a gravel trap and then blame it. This is the latest news, by the way, on Lance Stroll. He blamed it on brake failure. He drove right into a gravel trap. Okay, so the name is Trey, it's not Tresso. I'll try and remember. Big T still out front. Then it's Baby Boy, followed by Convoy, followed by Spikes, Venom, Fricky in P6, Tresso P7, Nick Gish in P8, Top Gun P9, Andre making up the top 10. I think he'll be rather happy with that, because not so long ago he was well outside the top 10 towards the rear of the field. Not long to go now, lap 28 of 29. Baby Boy just getting out of shape there. Fortunately, it looks like a fantastic battle, but we have to keep on reminding ourselves that there is no real battle there when we look at the timesheets. Go down the field looking for any DRS battles we can find. Awakes on the back of Skylar. But we don't know how important that battle is, because practically everybody has penalties. There's different numbers to these penalties, so we have to just wait until the end of the race, let the game figure it all out, do the maths. In fact, we just have 4 drivers in the field that have avoided that penalties column. Everybody else has succumbed to it. Big T still out front. Convoy picks up a penalty. That's the man in P3. Let's just bring up the penalty screen one more time to remind ourselves of who is where. Big T 9 seconds, Baby Boy 3 seconds, and now Convoy, the man in P3. He's got 6 seconds of his own. There we go. Now I thought my mic stopped working as well, but there it is. So Big T, Baby Boy, what a race these two have had. They've traded places, they've gone side by side, they've done everything but make contact. But unfortunately for them, they're not going to be as close as things appear. Unfortunately for Big T, just picked up too many penalties. And now they do make contact. It looks like they made contact there, but no harm, no foul. Everybody still does have their end plates. And Big Boy's going to finish in front anyway. So Big T is able to proudly say he did finish ahead on track. But we know those results are going to change up very quickly. I think I can now confirm for you the top three. Baby Boy takes the victory. Spikes P2 and Convoy taking up that final podium spot. As for Big T, I said he might drop out of the top 5. That wasn't the case. He simply dropped off the podium. He's going to be able to hold on to a P4. Luckily for him, 1 or 2 drivers did pick up additional penalties in those late stages. Unserved penalty, 10-second penalty goes the way of Skylar. Of course, there was also another driver with that penalty. I think it was Tresso. Those will be added on to their race time. I believe everyone has come over the field. Was that it? Oh wow. I thought it was a tyre. It wasn't a tyre. That was a car crashing to pieces. It's not like these chassis are expensive or anything, guys. Let's just crash them for fun at the end of the race. That way we don't have to transport them back to Europe. Just send it to the scrapyard. So a brief look at the podium. This time I don't have to mute anything for copyright because we've had no sound. Fantastic. So there are your results. Baby Boy, he took the victory. Spikes P2, Convoy P3. A race and a result that had so much to do with the penalties column and not necessarily to do with the speed of the drivers. Big T, he finished P4, Venom P5, then Fricky in P6. Andre, he was able to pick up a few positions at the end there because of all the penalties, went up into P7, Nick Geshen P8, Top Gun P9, and Trey taking the final point. No points on the night for Virus, for Awakes, for Skylar, for Andres, Mr. M, and then 3 DNFs, Lebby, Skull, and Smurf. And there we go, folks. That was a good one. Pity about all the penalties. Penalties really mixed things up at the end there. Couldn't really tell who was where on the timing sheets. Had to do a lot of maths in the background, and if you knew how good my maths was, you'd know why I didn't even try. So, of course, we've got a lot of viewers here this evening. I want to thank everybody that joined the channel, everybody that's new to the channel. Remember to subscribe if you want to see more of this content. Of course, we upload on a Sunday SKR, we upload on a Monday SAFRL. 2 of those leagues are in this League v League Championship. So if it is your first visit, remember to subscribe. And if you're one of the loyal viewers who comes back every time I stream, just remember to leave a like on the video. It really helps us out here on the channel. We'll allow a minute or 2 to see if anybody does decide to join the comms box. If nobody joins the comm box, then I will be saying goodbye in about 2 minutes. Let's see if anybody does decide to join.
SKR, going full flight. JPR, rev it up, don't stop. LSA, engines make 'em pop. 5 drivers, each team roaring. Racing hearts, no ignoring. Race night fever, 8 o'clock. Engines roar, the streets rock. 4 leagues fighting, head to head. Burning rubber, red. Crowds cheer, lights flashing. Through the night, all passion. One by one, on the track. No turning back, no slack. High speed, adrenaline rush. Turbocharged, feel the crush. League pride, holding tight. Win or lose, in the night. Race night fever, 8 o'clock. Engines roar, the streets rock. 4 leagues fighting, head to head. Burning rubber, painting red.
And welcome back, everyone. I'm just having a look at the cool down room. We do have we did have two drivers in the cool down room. I think it was Apmagozi making a visit and Nick Gishin, but those drivers have disappeared. So we'll just allow a few more seconds to see if they do come back. If you're listening to the stream, do come back. Of course, I just didn't get there in time. Apmagozi back in the cool down room. Let's bring Apmagozi into the comms box. Apmagozi, if you're listening to the stream on any device, just mute it there for us so we don't have to listen to ourselves. Okay, I think Apmagozi is here. Let me just make sure YouTube can hear you. I believe YouTube can hear you. Apmagozi, welcome to the NFR comms box. Apmagozi, are you there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there we go. That was loud. Apmagozi, are you there? Not really sure what's going on the side there. Apmagozi just maybe having trouble with his mic. Are you there now?
Can you hear us, Not Fanana?
There we go. We can hear you. We can hear you. You can just turn your mic down a little bit. Apmagozi, did you watch the race from start to finish? Let me know what did you make of it? Today it was a race full of penalties, a lot of early safety cars. I actually thought it was going to be one of those races where you have the 4 or 5 safety cars, but luckily sort of stopped at that with lots and lots of penalties. Apmagozi? I'm not sure if we can hear each other. I'm not sure what happened there. Unfortunately, I can hear Apmagozi, but I'm not sure he can hear me. So do apologize. Hopefully next time around we'll be doing this on Sunday. Hopefully we can get Apmagozi in the cool down room next time round, or maybe even get him in the comms box for one of these races pretty soon. Then I can have a night off. Of course, I really enjoy doing this. I don't need a night off. But Apmagozi, if you ever want to join in the comms box, let me know. We can do a bit of a co-commentary and see how it goes. Still a lot of you watching on the stream, so I want to thank everybody who's watched the stream up until this point. We've obviously been live for almost 2 hours, and there's still some of you here. So if you haven't left a like, remember to leave a like. If you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. I want to thank all of you, and NFR will be back on Sunday with SKR. I'm going to have to confirm the time because the Springboks are playing when we're supposed to be racing. So I don't think we'll be racing at 6 o'clock. I'll let you know when we are racing. And until next time, to all the regulars, Skull, Visor, Dixie Killer, Death Queen, and all the rest of you, thank you very much. See you on Sunday. Till then, cheers.
No room for fear. SAFRL bringing fire hot. SK already taking the shot.